everyone, welcome to this week's video. This week I'm going to be turning a Western maple bowl. I usually turn Maine maple, so this one should be interesting. I do have the finished piece here in my hand, and I'm torn whether or not to show you or not. And it just has some really interesting grain and some colors in it. So I think I'm going to save it until the end, so make sure you watch until the end so you can see the review. I will be back on camera at the end telling you about the process. So let's get into the video. Thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe before you forget, and let's get turning. So here I am finding center on the ball blank, and I cut it to round on the bandsaw. Now I'm attaching the faceplate. And mounting it on the lathe with the faceplate. I will link the faceplate and all the other tools and products that I use in the video description. I have received some questions about the faceplate, well actually about a chuck. And depending on what lathe you have, you either get 8 1/4 or 8x1 TPI on a chuck and or a faceplate. So I'll link the one I use in the video description. Mine is 8 1/4, and I have a Laguna 1836. So just getting it in balance here, starting with the Carter & Son bowl gouge. And because I cut it to round on the bandsaw, this was pretty easy to do. Just a few passes, and now I am starting to true up what will be the bottom of the bowl. And the lathe was around 850 RPM at this point. So after taking the tailstock away, I have more room to start making the foot. I'm going to be using a mortise and a foot. And adjusting the tool rest. Make sure you always stop the lathe before you adjust the tool rest. Bad things can happen. This is the Carter & Son parting tool, and I'm using this to define the define the foot. And this is the Carter & Son skew chisel. Trying to make sure that it is flat. And as you can imagine, the shavings coming off of this were pretty hot and were hurting the hand, so I did put on a nitrile glove. A little bit of a different view. What you see sort of past my head, that white board there, is my sticker board. If you have a sticker and you'd like to send me, I will put it on my board, so make sure you send me your sticker if you have one. And using some push cuts there to get it into the outside shape that I want it to be. Lots and lots of shavings coming off. Stopping to check how the cuts are going. And adjusting the tool rest again to get a better cut up there near the rim of the bowl. And sanding and sanding and sanding, and starting at 80 grit. I sanded from 80 to 320 on this piece. Taking it off the lathe here, I'm going to remove the faceplate and use the 4-jaw chuck in expansion mode to put it back on the lathe and start the hollowing process. And starting out with a cut to balance out the piece on top of the bowl, and then stopping to check, and then hogging out some material. Here I have the Carter & Son 3/4 inch bowl gouge, and this thing is a beast. I have both the smaller one, the 5/8, and also the 1 inch, the bigger one than this. And tending to gravitate towards this one on most pieces. Switching out the tool rest for the robust interior curved tool rest. If you have watched any of my videos, you know I highly recommend not only Carter & Son, but this robust interior curved tool rest. It not only makes turning more enjoyable, but it makes it much more safe. If you do any amount of bowls, I do think it's well worth it. I think the price right now is $107. I do have a link in the video description if you want to check it out. Sometimes it might be on sale. So I don't know if you've noticed my glove in my left hand there. If I wear a glove, I usually only wear a nitrile glove for safety purposes. This is a different kind of glove, and I wore it because I had a pretty good cut on my left hand on a finger that I didn't do with turning, but it was laid open pretty good, and I just needed to make sure it was covered and wouldn't get any dust in it. So this was the best thing I could do. Sometimes the nitrile gloves makes things sweat, and if they rip, they can easily get dust into it before you know it. So using a combination of push and pull cuts, and checking the wall thickness with the calipers. And starting the sanding process with some power sanding, this with an 80 grit 2 inch sanding disc. These things are awesome. After the denatured alcohol, I am going over it with some 320 again, just to make sure the fibers are going to behave. And then adding a sanding sealer. I use the Zinsser's brand sanding sealer. Let me know what kind you use. I've always just used Zinsser's and I've had great results, but if you use something different, let me know. And the Axe abrasive paste is the next step in the process. You can save 15% off your Axe order if you use my coupon code. It is linked in the video description. And onto the Axe polishing paste. Check out this before, and in a moment you will see how fast and how good this stuff works. Just as easy as it looks. I'm buffing it in and then buffing it out. I love this stuff. Taking it off the lathe here. I'll show the camera a little bit, but don't go anywhere. I do have something coming up that you don't want to miss. There'll be some photos here in a second, but stay tuned after the photos. There's some more video footage coming up. Here are the photos. 3 more photos coming up, and then some more video footage of me explaining the process or my experience with turning this bowl. So don't go anywhere. It's coming up momentarily. All right, as promised, here we are at the end of the video, and even though you saw some photos there at the end of the video, this is the finished piece. This was really fun to turn. Again, I'm just impressed with the coloring in the bowl. I actually wish I had a bigger piece of this to make a set, maybe. It's just really pretty, and I know I get a rep for you know, coloring or embellishing a lot of my pieces, but some pieces really just call for no color, no embellishments at all, and this was one of those. So hold on, I want to show you something. This is what next week, well, maybe the week after, I'm not sure yet. This is what I'm going to be turning. So make sure you subscribe, but let me get the piece. Hold on. Hold on, it's still heavy. Bigger than my head. Well, maybe 3 times as big. But anyway, this is Maine maple. This is one is going to be a large bowl. Oh, I'm going to drop it if I don't put it down. So make sure you subscribe, like the video, and hit the bell icon to get notified every time I upload a new video. I am trying to work on the upload schedule to see what works best. So whereas before I was uploading every Saturday or Sunday, sometimes now I upload on Wednesday as well. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And again, thank you for watching. I really appreciate your support. And this is Peggy on camera saying goodbye, camera.